Hey, who out there has a side hustle that's reliant on that gig economy? Today we're going to be talking about whether it's dropping or it's growing. Hey guys, welcome back. I am the Real Bearded Businessman. Thanks again for coming to my channel. And hey, if you're new here, I'm the Real Bearded Businessman, and my channel is all about strategies and such for building your financial independence. And that's what I'm currently doing now. Building this channel is one of my paths to that financial independence, and I want to share all my lessons and that I've learned along the way with you guys. Likewise, I want to I want other people to be active in this community, and I want to make sure that together we do find that financial independence, and we're able to, to take the vacations that we want and do the things that we want, and really be able to go from there. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button and please ring that bell. I don't want you guys missing out on any of the great updates and things that we're working on here at the channel. So go ahead, have fun, and if you have any questions whatsoever, throw them down there in the comments, and I'll do my best to get right back on them and hopefully answer them for you. All right. So today's topic is the gig economy. Is it growing? Is it dropping? Is it staying along a steady path? What is it doing? And because hey, if you're relying on this economy, you kind of want to know what direction you're headed, what direction the economy itself is headed, and that's going to help you, make a little bit more of an informed decision down the road, right? So let's start off with what is the gig economy, right? So I've been trying my best to find like a real cohesive answer, and for me, the one that really makes the most sense here is I kind of combined a couple definitions, but it's the economy of providing a product or a service as a freelancer or an independent contractor, right? So who participates in this gig economy, right? So it would be people like Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, any of those rideshare companies, DoorDash, Seamless. I'm blanking on the rest of them, but any one of those rideshare companies, that's probably the biggest one right now. But it's also services like people that are doing maids, maids and cleaning services. People that are consulting, whether you're consulting from a business standpoint, you're consulting from a technical standpoint. However you're doing it as a freelancer or as an independent contractor. The other one that I know a lot of people do is if you have a technical skill or an artistic skill, people are participating on Fiverr.com or any one of those other, gig platforms, So that's really who is reliant on this economy, right? So I'm going to start with a couple of the negatives, or what, most of the people out there say are a problem with the gig economy. And, shortly I'm going to be getting into whether I think this economy is going to grow and where I think it is headed down the road, and what really is in the future of this economy. So one of the negatives is that everybody really talks about this gig economy is the lack of profit, for the individual. A lot of folks feel that, you do a job, and because you're almost competing against the lowest bid sometimes, that you're really not making the profit that you really need to. And I think to some extent that's a fair criticism, but also to another extent, I think there are opportunities for you to capitalize and make more of a profit. You just have to know where to look, right? So the other one is that people talk about is like lack of benefits, right? That's always a big criticism of the gig economy. If you're doing freelance work, if you're consulting, if you're an independent contractor, you're getting paid for the job, and then that's it. You're not able to participate in any sort of benefits programs and stuff like that, right? Now, one of the things I will say is from my research, which is kind of really good, is, in my opinion, it's really good, is you do have a lot of people working on your behalf to try and combat some of these negatives, right? So if I start with the first one is the difficulty on living on your gig income full time. There are a bunch of states out there that are looking to get better at some of the laws and regulations and trying to help you out in your favor and start putting some minimums in there, right? So it'll be a minimum per job or a minimum per hour to really help you out and assist you there. The other one is the benefits. And I know that there's a lot of states actually out there right now that are actively trying to make it easy for some of these gig platforms to provide health insurance and retirement insurance and some of these other benefits for their gig employees, you know. So some of these platform companies like Fiverr, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Seamless, any one of these, you'll be able to, or I should say that platform will be able to hopefully down the road provide benefits to its employees. So hopefully that should make things a little bit easier for you. Now some of the positives, and I really think that these are some dang strong positives, right? So my first one is if you're participating in the gig economy and you're that freelancer, you're that independent contractor, you set your own hours. If you only have 2 hours to work one day, you work those 2 hours and then you're done. If you have 8 hours to work the next day, that's great. And then you have 0 the following day. You can do that. You have that freedom. You have that ability. And I think that's huge, especially as a side gig or a side hustle. That's great because there's weeks that you have the opportunities and then there's weeks that you don't. And with stuff like this, working in that gig economy gives you that freedom, right? And then the other thing that I really like is you get to control your customer base. And what I mean by that is you can pick and choose kind of who you want to pick up or who you don't want to pick up, who you want to provide these services or these products for. Now, I don't know the intricacies of say an Uber or a Lyft or any of these others. I don't think you necessarily get to pick, this specific person. I'm going to pick this person up or not pick this person up. But you do have a rating system. You have the stars. You really have the ability to sit there and say, I'm not picking up somebody that's got 1 star. I'm going to hold out and I'm going to get the guy or the girl that has 5 stars, So I think that's really cool because in a lot of other businesses, you can't pick and you're already invested in them economically before all of a sudden you go, maybe this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to be a great transaction, right? So that's one of my other points. The other thing is once the job's done, the job is done. That customer was great. Hopefully you get a referral out of that and you get repeat business. But if you really didn't like that customer, there's nothing forcing you to go back to them, right? So I think that's really cool. And that is absolutely a freedom that freelancing or participating in this gig economy provides you. And I think that is absolutely a great positive. And lastly, it kind of ties back into setting your own hours, but the extra time off, I think that's great too. So not only do you get to set your hours, but you really get to set your days. I think this is helpful for people, like I said, either working a full-time job and trying to do something on the side, or if you're a stay-at-home parent, or if you're a single parent, or you're trying to take care of a family member or a friend, or it provides you a lot of this freedom to kind of do whatever you want to do and still make money on the side, should you need to. So that's kind of like what my negatives and positives are. And like I said, I wanted to touch on whether I think it's growing and what my thoughts are on where it's headed. And I'll tell you right now, I think it is growing. I see a lot more people nowadays than even 3 to 4 years ago willing to pay for services that they didn't necessarily weren't going to pony up the money for a couple years ago and do. I'll tell you right now, I think ride sharing is huge. Everywhere I go, there's more people getting the to-go orders, getting delivered to them. I see those cars everywhere now and the logos. Uber, Lyft, those guys aren't going anywhere. The companies, the corporations are growing. The service areas are increasing. Stuff like that. Now, what do I think? Where do I think it's headed? I honestly think not only is it going to grow in size and customer base, but I think there's also going to be a lot more people providing those services. I think personally that there's going to be a lot more of an older generation getting into these things. I think folks that are, starting to get into their 40s, maybe mid 40s to 50s, they have a lot of skills. They've accrued a lot of skills in their careers. And all of these platforms, every single one of them is making every conscious effort they can to simplify the process, to get as many customers in and to get as many service providers, if you will, in. They want to maximize, their holding of the market. So they're going to make this as easy as possible. And where I think, the technology hurdle for some of the older generations were, there was always that technology hurdle. I think these companies are actively trying to kill that technology hurdle, make it as easy as possible, and just like I said, grow their market. So, all right, guys. So that's my thought on the gig economy. Like I said, I think this is going through, definitely going up. I'm not going to say through the roof, absolutely not. But I think this is definitely going to be increasing, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Last article I read on it, they said that right now the gig economy is estimated to be 57 million people huge. And that is just a tremendous number. I mean, worldwide, 57 million. And while that's a huge number, I think there's plenty of room for it to grow. And I feel very strongly that it will grow, And one of the other things that I thought was really cool is that I found that I just wanted to tell you guys about is I believe 2019 is the first year that they're going to do it, but they're actually going to do a gig con, and it's going to be a conference for people that do gigs. I think that's super cool because it's going to be able to get a ton of people together into one area that are freelancers, that are independents, and really sit down and share information. You can learn from experts. You can talk about it. You can do things like that. So if you guys are interested, definitely look up this GigCon thing. I personally don't have any side gigs, or I have side hustles, but I don't really participate in the gig economy. I'm a customer of it, but honestly, I'm thinking about doing some more research on this because, there may be information in here that I may want to jump into. So just wanted to throw that information out to you guys. Hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you guys are hustling. Hope you guys are loving the Monday Mindset videos. And hey, as always, let's work hard. Let's become financially independent. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.